Hi, this is Awaken Your Soul. I'm Amber Antonelli, and this is my husband, Anthony Esposito.
Hola, amigos.
Hola. We wanted to talk today about our experience and the difference between Iboga and Ayahuasca, because it's a question that we get asked often. It's a question that we ourselves, as practitioners and explorers, have asked as well, having experience with both of them, trying to really decipher the different textures and really the different wisdoms in both of the plants. And we just wanted to share a little bit about our experience today. So we found ayahuasca initially over 8 years ago, and that was our first foray into plant medicine work and really into ourselves, into the depths of who we were and how we wanted to be in the world and how we wanted to understand this incredible gift of life. And, dozens and dozens of ceremonies later, after living in an ayahuasca community, Anthony found Iboga, and I followed suit to explore this powerful medicine. And so after having experience working with both of them, we started seeing more and more people coming who had been working with ayahuasca initially. Iboga has entered the plant medicine realm initially as a very powerful detoxification from opiates, most specifically with ibogaine, which is one of the 12 to 13 alkaloids existing in the full Iboga root. And it blocks the opiate receptors. So for many, many years, Iboga has been known to be very, very effective in detoxing people from, a 15-year heroin addiction in 24 to 48 hours. So there's been that stigma around it. And then more recently, in the past, 5 to 6 years, 4 to 5 years.
I would say maybe a little bit more, maybe 7 to 8.
Yeah, more and more spiritual seekers are finding this medicine, and that was certainly how we came upon it. And so, in really studying the difference between the two medicines, I think a friend initially put it. It was a beautiful friend who has participated, and facilitated thousands of ayahuasca ceremonies. And he came and worked with us with Iboga, one retreat, so 2 ceremonies in one retreat, and he went really, really deep in a way that he probably had never gone with ayahuasca. And he said that for him, the difference was that ayahuasca really connects you to your heart and opens the heart space, and Iboga really cleans the mind. And that was something that we had already sort of touched on, but the way that he put it, for me, was like, yes, that makes perfect sense to me. And so, ayahuasca is a very communal experience. There's a lot of energy circulating the ceremony space that is a collective energy. It's a vine, so it goes out, it goes up. There's a lot of cosmic awareness, a lot of entities is not the word I'm looking for. A lot of influence from other galactic type of spaces, things that are not of this linear world. There's, of course, a ton of heart healing, lineage pieces. I mean, she shows us who we are and how we want to be in the world, but there's a lot more external stimuli, I feel, in my ayahuasca experiences.
I agree. I agree with that. I mean, yeah, with mine as well, you mentioned like community and heart opening. My first couple of journeys with ayahuasca was about expanding my heart and actually understanding that I can trust people, because I come from a very traumatic childhood of sexual abuse, and so trusting has been a tremendous roadblock for me. It's been very difficult to trust myself, of course, most importantly, and then trust others. So ayahuasca really helped me to start connecting to myself and opening my heart, and there was a lot of energy healing that had happened, and being able to trust people and community and
She's warm and nurturing
build
and loving.
relationships, exactly. And then
having a real open heart is something, over life, we come into the world with a very open heart, and then as the conditioning sets in and just life happens, that heart closes more and more and more. She's also, it's a feminine spirit, and she is very loving and nurturing, and will kind of hold you. But as well, just like I'm sure many of you can relate to, female energy can be a little bit confusing sometimes. Like, we say one thing and we do another, and she can be quite tricky that way. And so I found myself at the end of many ayahuasca ceremonies wondering what the hell just happened, like not having a lot of clarity around what I was receiving. I knew that I felt better and better and better, but a lot of times I didn't really know what the wisdom was. And so that could be a bit frustrating sometimes, and not that it's really necessary to figure out everything that happens in that space, because the medicine sometimes will clean stuff. We don't necessarily need to go through it all again, but sometimes I would find that she would do one thing here and then come around the corner and smack me right in the head when I wasn't paying attention. And so that's something that, we've spoken to many people about. They definitely feel that to be true about her approach. So that can be a little confusing. I have received so much healing and so much wisdom from ayahuasca, and she will always, always be a teacher for me and for you as well.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. She's taught me a lot. She's healed me a lot. She's allowed me or helped me to really connect to myself and connect to nature and connect to other beings. And so I'm forever grateful for her. But there was a point where maybe, I don't know, over a couple year period, 20, 25 ceremonies in, it was clear that it was time to stop sitting in the ceremony, and then really start integrating. Yeah, I start integrating what it is that she shared with me, what it is that she healed me of, and to start integrating was the next step after a lot of journeys.
Yeah, and going back to the real world, so to speak, and implementing. And so, then Iboga came along, and that was really the turning point for him, as his partner for many years, and seeing the effects of his the trauma in his life. The Iboga was really the turning point. I mean, the ayahuasca for sure was an opening, and it was a gateway. And then when Iboga came along, that was really the turning point. And so, and then I came to the medicine about a year later.
Yeah, Iboga was a very strong and clear calling once the medicine called, and I remember knowing right away that I needed to go. I did absolutely no research. I think I watched one video of the African shaman that was in Costa Rica, but I just listened. I listened to the call, and I wasn't worried about the intensity of the medicine, because I clearly said to myself, there's nothing on this planet that can hurt me more than I already hurt myself over the years. So I wasn't afraid. Of course, there was some anxiety. We all have anxiety going into an unknown experience, and our senses get heightened. That's why. But I completely trusted. I wasn't worried about if it was intense or if it was colorful. It didn't matter, because I truly knew that the medicine was going to give me what I needed. And with Iboga, Amber mentioned earlier, the medicine likes to work a lot on the mind and the brain and the central nervous system. And so for me, it really helped to ground me into my body, to bring a lot of clarity, and to start being the observer of this whole entire being.
Of who you are.
Of who I am.
Yeah.
Like the tradition, the Bhuti tradition, and the medicine is the study of life. That's it. Period. It's a very simple tradition, simple medicine, vast and unbelievably amazing. But it's simple. And Iboga taught me how to manage this being, and to fully understand this being, and to connect to the intrinsic power within me. Because it's, you go to Africa, which I've been a couple of times, and man, so powerful. And so I feel, based upon my experience, that Iboga is a bit more powerful than ayahuasca. And just,
Explain that, because
well, I mean, with you're not going to do 30 Iboga journeys in 3 years. I mean, I've done
you could do 30 ayahuasca ceremonies
in 6
a
months.
couple months. Yeah, for sure.
In
Iboga, no.
no
you don't need
way.
it.
You don't need
just don't need it.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
The medicine just does not show you the same thing twice, and it's giving you what you need, and it's giving you a lot to work with. The medicine lasts longer in the system as well, and so the way it metabolizes in the system and the way that it stays in the body, it lasts longer. You know, I go to Africa, and I don't when I come back from Africa, I don't even want to eat the medicine for like 2 or 3 months. Like, I'm good. Like, I really don't. And it's quite incredible, because at this point, it's like I've done enough journeys over the last 5.5 years that I've gotten what I need. I know where I'm at, and I don't need to eat massive amount of medicine to figure anything out anymore at this point.
Well, let's talk about, so for those of you who are not going to Africa, for
Right.
those of you who are not making, being an Iboga provider your journey, and you may, you never know, but, what does that look like for the participant? So with an ayahuasca ceremony, for those of you who have experience, you'll know that, the ceremony is 4 to 6 hours typically. And then, there's a little bit of a come down recovery time. Usually you get some pretty decent sleep, even if it's short. Yeah, even if it's short, the sleep is restful. You get up, you have food. Almost always, I don't remember really ever not feeling hungry. And then, the next day you're back up and operating again. And with Iboga, it's the ceremony in and of itself is longer. It starts at dark, and a couple hours into a fire chat where we talk about, just some life philosophy, teachings of the Bwiti tradition, our own experience. Everyone in the group shares what they're looking to receive. And then after the medicine kicks in, you're looking at maybe 8 to 10 hours until the ceremony is over. And so there's a lot of information coming up there. We also do a guided journey, which we're going to talk about in another video. It's a really neat one-on-one individual guided meditation. And then when dawn comes is when we are reborn. So that's when the ceremony ends. But then in the recovery day or the discovery day, there's actually most people are relatively incapacitated at that point. So, if people have an appetite, which isn't common,
Immobile.
we do fruit. We'll say immobile, not
Immobile.
incapacitated.
Yeah. People can move. People can walk to the
can
pool.
move.
Yeah,
It
they can walk
depends.
around.
It affects everybody differently,
Yeah.
but really it's a very quiet, very slow,
Yeah.
very introspective day. And
Yeah.
we bring fruit and coconut water,
Yeah.
and typically this day is even more illuminating with information and clarity and downloads than actually the ceremony space itself. The effects of the medicine have worn down. You may still be feeling some of it, but it's a lot, it's just different. It starts to shift. But this day is really, really key in continuing to absorb what the medicine has to show you. And the wisdom of the medicine is very clear. It's very direct. It's not an in the side door type of teaching. It's often just like these one-liners too, where in that space you go, oh my God, I have been operating this way my whole life. And when one sentence from the medicine comes in and you see the truth, and it's like, there's no, well, how can I interpret that? What could that mean? It's clear, direct, no nonsense, very honest, and you can't run from it. And so,
Truth hunter.
Truth hunter.
Yeah, Iboga.
Yeah.
We often say Iboga is the greatest hunter for the truth within us, inside of us, because we all have our own truth. And it's extremely precise.
And it knows exactly what you need.
It doesn't miss its target.
Yeah.
It's 100% accuracy all the time from the spirit of Iboga, hands down. And it's so fascinating to see, especially all the new people that come in, and we watch them ingest the medicine and go through the week, and it's always a surprise, how they get on with the medicine. There's so many commonalities, but yeah, it's really incredible to see that the medicine hits its target all the time.
Well, what it does is the medicine, the wisdom of the medicine aligns with our own highest wisdom.
Yeah.
And together, they get online together, and then they know exactly what we need. Ayahuasca is the same way. I would say that it's our experience, and many people that we've worked with, is that Iboga is more direct, and grounding. It's the root. So where ayahuasca is a vine in terms of energetically, Iboga is the root, and it grounds us into the truth of who we are. And you know, with ayahuasca being such a beautiful heart opener, and not that Iboga doesn't open your heart,
No,
or not
sure.
that ayahuasca doesn't work on the mind, but they both have, it seems, a very clear role. With an open heart, but if your mind is a chaotic mess, the heart can't possibly stay open.
Mm-hmm.
And with a clear and clean mind, but a closed heart, you're still missing a lot of life. So they work beautifully in tandem. But to Anthony's point earlier, you know, yes, we've worked with smaller doses of the medicine consistently throughout our
With Iboga?
training. With Iboga throughout our training, and you more so than I have. But on the mattress, as a participant, I have 6 journeys, and you have 8 or 9. It's
Yeah,
just
some are
not.
8.
It's not necessary to do a significant amount of them, because you receive so much information in that time period, and the medicine does continue to work and unfold and process and integrate as the days and the months go on. And so you know, it just feels like more cleaning is done in a condensed period of time. So Iboga has this reputation for being really intense and, you know, the strongest psychedelic on the planet. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I would definitely say
About being the strong, I think hands down it's the strongest. In terms of intensity, I think ayahuasca can be just as intense.
I've had way
Yeah.
more intense and scary experiences with ayahuasca than
Could
with
be very
Iboga.
intense,
But for
yeah.
me, the integration period with Iboga is deeper, because there's more happening, there's more shifting, there's more insights, and this isn't at all to pit one against the other, you know, but we are obviously Iboga providers, and we hold Iboga retreats, so just helping to clarify, you know, and it's not, each medicine isn't right for everybody.
No,
you know, there's
not
no
at all. No, that's why I think it's really important to listen.
to
You know,
your
often,
own,
well, often people will ask me when I'm talking with them on the phone or the email, what's the difference, or compare them. And for me, it's really, I don't want to compare them because they are very, very different. And
but there is a contrast
there-
that's helpful
yeah,
for people
no,
to understand.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But most important is what's calling you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you can, and there's the resources and the time, do them both for sure. I really do. I mean, I've done them both,
Absolutely.
so I recommend
Absolutely.
doing them both. What comes first, I don't know. It's your journey, and just listen to what's calling you. And to your point, some people, based upon their energy, based upon what they're going through, based upon what they're looking for at this moment in their life, Iboga could be the one that they try first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or maybe it's ayahuasca, and you know, we're well educated, well experienced, highly skilled to be able to help people that need that guidance. But I don't want to tell somebody what to do. I just want to share with them and to help guide them and to help
and we
them
will never.
listen to themselves. I was going to say, just to help to teach them to listen to themselves, listen to you, and listen to the call to medicine.
Yeah, we will never push anyone into work with us if it doesn't feel like it's the right fit.
That's right.
You know, because we ultimately want people that are ready to experience this, and so there's absolutely no interest whatsoever in manipulating a situation.
No.
For us, as Anthony said, we are absolutely willing and able to discuss with people if this is the right step for them, for sure. Because it's a big commitment, it's a big undertaking, and again, to his point, both of them are beautiful, and I think that if you are on the path to self-discovery, they both add and enhance certain elements of life, and they both help remove certain things.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, ayahuasca and I had a really tricky relationship for a long time, and once I started working more with Iboga, I was able to ground more in my work with ayahuasca, because I'm an empath and I absorb a lot of energy around me, and the more I learned to flush some of my own negativity and protect my own energy, then it became easier for me to work with ayahuasca. So I'm eternally grateful to both of them. And yeah, typically people know what they're being called to do. So listen to your own inner wisdom.
Yeah.
And connect with us if you have any questions and need a little bit of clarity and direction. We're happy to help shed any light that we can. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot of other videos. We have some testimonials, things that you can check out. Of course, a lot of content on our website. So you can click the link below to find us at awakenyoursoul.co. And we will see you again soon.
Basi, basi.
Basi.